18 and diabetic. It was something that was unheard of just a few years ago. However, I hear from many of my clients who are medical doctors that it's becoming increasingly common, and it's set to get worse unless we do something about it. And the Muslim community is likely to get hit the hardest. Now, I'm here today to talk about what we are doing and what we can do together to prevent this from getting worse. So I'm Adam Khan, founder of Fit That Life Mastery, father of two, and ex-school teacher. As a fitness expert and online weight loss coach, I help Muslim men lose weight and improve their health. I've been featured on the BBC, Islam channel, and British Muslim TV, as well as other media outlets. For the last 2 years, it's been my passion to help Muslim men wake up to the reality that in terms of our health, we are off course. That the human and financial cost of our current way of life is far too great. After years of research, I created the Minimalist Method, a step-by-step program that helps people lose weight even without exercise or strict dieting. It's a revolutionary new way of looking at weight loss and health and fitness. But let me first tell you about how it started. My dad suffered a heart attack when I was around 7 years old. We were making cards at school, and Mrs. Hardy, that's the lady in red, asked me what was wrong because I wrote "Get well soon, Dad" on my card. And all I could explain as a 7-year-old is that the ambulance had rushed my dad to hospital. My dad, who lived a much healthier life than most people do today, suffered his first heart attack around the age of 40. We couldn't afford a car, so my dad walked everywhere. He didn't eat junk food, he wasn't obese, and he wasn't a smoker. Following that first heart attack, my dad had a big stroke in 1994. This was the one that completely debilitated my dad and devastated our family. My dad was practically a cabbie from then on, with no quality of life. My mum became his main carer, and it put a lot of strain on our family, especially since she not only had my dad to look after, but me too, as my health started deteriorating from a rare case of tuberculosis. Just before Ramadan 2002, my dad had another stroke, which hospitalized him. From there, he would have a series of strokes, coming in and out of consciousness, eventually passing away on the 12th of December 2002. 3 days before my wedding. So why did this happen? Why did my dad, who was moderately active, didn't eat junk food, wasn't obese, wasn't a smoker, have a heart attack in his 40s? Because statistically, South Asian men are 6 times more likely to suffer from diabetes, heart disease, and strokes as early as in their 30s. And that number is getting younger each year, mainly because of lifestyle factors, but also because of a progressive decline in the obesogenic environment. But what we say is that genetics only load the gun. It's our choices and our lifestyle and habits that pull the trigger. It was the peak of summer, 1997. I lay bedbound in agony with only a crackling radio to entertain me. Sweating profusely, in the sweltering heat, I struggled repeatedly to lift a small spoon to my mouth. I could hear the birds chirping outside and the children playing and laughing. I felt like it was the longest, driest summer I had ever experienced. Each time I attempted to lift a spoon to feed myself, a sharp pain would make me scream in agony as the C1 and C2 discs poked into my spinal cord. The pain was unbearable, surpassing anything that I had ever experienced in my life. The slightest movement would trigger it. At this point, I'd been battling with my health for 3 years. Contemplating suicide had become a regular occurrence, hanging over me like a dark cloud. That's how I spent what was supposed to be the most exciting time of a young adult's life, in the ages of 15 to 19, housebound, bedbound, or in and out of hospital due to a rare case of tuberculosis. To cut a long story short, due to this extremely rare occurrence at the base of my spine, it took the medical professionals 4.5 years to diagnose it as tuberculosis and put me on a course of treatment. By then, I had lost the hearing in my right ear and suffered permanent damage to some of the bones in my neck, the consequences of which I still suffer from today. These experiences led me to appreciate the value of health. When you spend most of your valuable teen years stuck in bed, back and forth from hospital, it's easy to recognize your most precious gift, your health. When I eventually recovered, I gained weight for the first time in my life. At first, it was a good sign, but within a couple of years, I'd ballooned to a 38-inch waist. I had gone from 7 stones to 13 stones. Being underweight all of my life, this was not normal for me. I felt heavy and less agile. I decided to do something about it. I'd taken my health for granted. Through countless hours in the gym and extreme dieting, I lost it all, only to regain most of it back again within a year. I then struggled for 10 years with my weight. After my divorce in 2012, I was in a terrible place. Losing my weight helped me cope mentally. Improving my health became the catalyst for everything that I am and do today. Obesity is a disease as classified by the World Health Organization. The American Medical Association recognized obesity as of 2013. In the UK, the Royal College of Physicians recognized obesity as a disease in 2019. It can reduce life expectancy between 5 and 20 years. It decreases quality of life, functional capacity, and increases morbidity. And because it impairs normal function and accelerates decline, is why it's been classed as a disease. Obesity is a major public health issue, and we need to take steps to prevent it and help those who have it. In the UK, Survey for England 2021 states that 25.9% of adults in England are obese, and a further 37.9% are overweight. That's 68% of men and 59% of women. And I've given the statistics before about Asian men. Child obesity is at record highs. 10.1% of reception-age children aged 4 to 5 were obese in 2021, with a further 12.1% were overweight at age 10 and 11 years old. 23.4% were obese and 14.3% were overweight. Now think about what's going to happen to them kids as they get older. Now chances of child obesity increase significantly if one or both parents are dealing with obesity. 10% of the UK children's population make up South Asian children, but 40% are either overweight or obese. So that's disproportionately high in South Asian communities, which are largely made up of Muslims. Now, obesity costs the NHS around 6.5 billion a year, and is the second biggest preventable cause of cancer. Over 1 in 4, 26% of adults and 23.4% of children aged 10 to 11 years in England are living with obesity, placing huge pressure on the healthcare system. What's the Islamic solution? Does Islam have a solution? Now, when I teach this to Muslims, it comes as a surprise. So you might ask me why even tie this to Islam and Muslims? Because as a community, we are still very strongly connected to our faith. And with anything, any endeavor, any goal, if you can find a strong purpose and a strong why for doing something, it's likely that we'll see that thing through. And because we are such a community that's connected to our faith, if we can tie our faith to our health goals, then it's far more likely people will see it through. We'll look at what the Quran says, what the Prophet said, and the attitudes of his companions and pious people that came after him. And I'll share some strategies with you for permanent weight loss that we use with our clients without the suffering we may be used to. So what the Quran says. So the Quran says, eat wholesome unprocessed foods. So eat of the pure, wholesome things that we have provided for you, but do not exceed the bounds. So eat of the lawful and good food which Allah has provided for you, and be grateful for the favor of Allah if it is He whom you worship. Now that goes to say that even if you are eating healthy foods, you still need to consider the volume or the quantity that you're eating. Don't eat excessively. Believers, do not deprive yourselves of good things in life, which God has made lawful to you, but do not exceed the limits of what is right. God does not love those who exceed the limits of what is right. Again, controlling the volume and quantity of what we eat. And eat and drink, but do not be excessive. Indeed, He likes not those who commit excess. O mankind, eat from whatever is on earth that is lawful and good, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Indeed, he is to you a clear enemy. Think about what we eat. So consider the food. So then let man look at his food. And then don't destroy yourself from overeating. Let not your own hands contribute to your own destruction. A client of mine recently said to me, don't dig your own grave with your own teeth. The prophetic sayings, the prophet's sayings is the second source of Islam after the Quran. And the prophet said, your body has a right over you. And as Muslims, we consider our bodies as a gift and a trust from God that we are entrusted with to look after. So one of the maxims of Islam is preservation of self. In any given situation, we have to consider preserving one's soul or one's body. And the Prophet said the human being feels no worse vessel than his stomach. It's sufficient for a human being to eat a few mouthfuls to keep his spine straight. But if he must, then 1/3 for food, 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 for air. Overeating does not go with good health. Now, as a fitness professional, when the Prophet said enough to keep his spine straight, I would understand that to mean maintenance calories. So we should only eat enough for us to function, and nothing beyond that. And we teach our clients, and if you go to any dietitian or nutritionist, some of the key universal principles they teach you is that eat only when you're hungry, stop when you're 80% full. Most of the information that you see out there on social media and places like that, they're not suitable for the average person. They're usually suitable for bodybuilders or physique competitors. But these two pieces of advice can be universally applied. And the Prophet also said, we are a nation who do not eat until we are hungry. And when we eat, we do not eat to our fill. In another narration, it says that overconsumption is a calamity. So the first calamity for this nation after the death of its prophet will be satiety. When people's stomachs are full, they'll become obese and their hearts will become weakened. And their desires will grow wild. We know now that heart and circulatory diseases cause around 1/4 of all deaths in the UK. That's more than 160,000 deaths each year, or 460 each day. That's one death every 3 minutes. What we teach is a concept called food taqwa. As you've seen, we connect it back to the teachings of Islam, back to the Quran, back to the saying of the Prophet and the pious predecessors. And if I had more time, I could talk about just the Quran ayahs and more of the saying of the Prophet and the pious predecessors for 2 hours straight, with all of the kind of evidence from an Islamic perspective. But in essence, we teach this concept of food taqwa, and again, you don't need to follow a strict diet or anything like that. All you need to understand is that when you're eating, why you're eating. Are you eating because you're hungry? Consider what you're eating, so the quality of your food. Consider the quantity that you're eating. So you can eat anything in moderation. So the quantity, and also think about the immediate impact and the long-term impact. So the immediate impact might be when you eat certain foods, you feel guilty, or you feel tired and lethargic. And the long-term impact, of course, are the health consequences. And again, from an Islamic perspective, we are taught to control our desires. That's another thing to consider. What kind of results have we had from this food taqwa? And as you can see from here, we've got a brother on the left there. He was a regular gym goer, training very, very hard, strict dieting, and all the rest of it. And within 12 weeks, he got to that. And then on the other side, the brother with the blue navy on, he lost 28.8 kg in 12 weeks. Again, without the gym, without any exercise, without any strict dieting. And this man, he's a found system of diabetic lead. Again, he struggled with his weight for many, many years, 6'3". He lost 5 kg in BJJ over 1 year. Joined our program in 12 weeks. This is what it looks like. Practical steps. Understand your values. your why, as I said earlier. What are the things that are important to you? And flip the script. If you find yourself not prioritizing your health because of, say, you're busy with your family, you're busy with work, think about how those things can be affected should your health fail. So flip the script. Overcome limiting beliefs. So you might have fears about carbohydrates, about certain other foods and things. Once you educate yourself on nutrition, you can waive those fears and overcome those limiting beliefs. And again, understand nutrition, the science of fat loss and calories. Control your food environment. Inside the house, on social media, you want to unfollow all these food bloggers that are constantly tempting you to eat. Increase your daily movement. So aim for 6,000-7,000 steps, ideally 10,000 steps. If you look at the National Obesity Register, when they were asked what's the most active thing you do, and they said it was walking. And on average, they walk 12,000 steps. Just these is enough. You don't need a crazy workout, you don't need a strict diet, and you'll see your health improve.